Hey guys, Youth Fields here. Today we're going to be going over the portfolio for the week. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So obviously we can see that the market did pretty well this week, aside from a few companies. The only sector that I can see is big enough really to talk about that didn't do so well looks like healthcare plans. You can see that's down 9.23%. But overall, not too bad. We have Palantir, AMD, and Tesla down a little bit, quite a bit, as well as Meta down a little bit. But overall, not too bad. Pretty green week, which is very good. Moving into everything, Webull, we lost about $36 on this portfolio somehow. We're 187 now. That's not, it's whatever. On the M1 Finance side of things, if we check this last week, I'm not sure if it looks like we did have some dividends. So we had Pepsi for 284, AVGO for 140, Prologis for 168, Coca-Cola for 187, and Nvidia for 4 cents. So that's nice. That's probably close to $10. We had United Healthcare last week. I think I didn't, but anyhow, continuing into the rest of the portfolio, you can see here that we're sitting around 15,638, so that's pretty good. And let me change to the week. We're up $342. At least that's what it says here. Now going through each of the sectors, we can see the highest sector there was industrials, and followed by financials, and then technology. Highest in industrials was Honeywell, and yep. In finances, you can see that MasterCard and Visa seem to have recovered pretty much. So that's good, and Morgan Stanley is up as well, which is very nice. Mostly recovered, I should say. And what is this? Technology. Biggest one from Apple. This has been pretty slow, honestly, but not too bad now. So I'm excited about that. You can see Target's actually over right now, but that's nice. And then the lowest sectors for the week. So we ended all green, I should mention. Lowest sectors, though, were semiconductors, energy, and healthcare. Semiconductors, the lowest one there was AMD. We saw that on stock analysis. ENPH and phase. This is pretty typical in the energy sector for us, and then healthcare. Eli Lilly down, but overall not bad. So it's exciting. And then I also wanted to go over this real quick. It's kind of like a mini update here. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So we can see here the highest. I think that's sourced by the percentage amount, which is what I want. So you can see we are low. We have some companies that are in the red, but there's only 5 companies that are in the red out of the 30 that we have. So those 5 are Prologis, Costco, Procter & Gamble, EMPH, and United Healthcare. The largest 2 are more than 1% down, so that sucks. United Healthcare is it was like more of a gamble because of the whole controversy with the CEO, as well as, this is just like a company that people don't really like anymore. Well, never really liked them, but you know what I mean. And EMPH is just super volatile, so. But overall, if you add those together, these aren't a humongous target in our portfolio anyways, so that's only about $100 there. And then the ones that are below 1%, or I guess above -1%, or whatever you want to think about it like that, we've only lost like $6 across those 3 tickers. Whereas up here, like we can see, Nvidia is up 32%, and I think all of these started around May 1st or May 11th or something. First week in May. But Nvidia, 32%, AMD 31%, Broadcom 31%. So semiconductors up I'm just gonna guess if I was in USD, I think let's see, for like, well, that's just a month. But let's just say starting in May, just say May 1st, up 88%, which is crazy. But yeah, very nice. We can see some other stuff like Microsoft, Morgan Stanley. I think Apple is down here, so that's only up 3%, but that's still really respectable. Our lowest green is MasterCard, but that could honestly go down to red or whatnot at any time. So these are, variable, but yeah. In terms of our value, the highest company that we have right now is Apple, and then Microsoft, and then Google. And the main reason for that is just because we have the highest cost basis in those because of how we did our targets. So I'm pretty sure technology in our, I can bring this up real quick. I believe though it's like 20%. I don't know why. Let me see. My pies. No. Why is this not letting me go into it? There we go. So technology is 20%. Healthcare is 14%, so it's our second biggest. And semiconductors I put a little bit lower because kind of have a lot of overlap with technology and semiconductors. So, anyways, moving on to Composer. We can see here that we are at $3,484, and that is very close to the amount we put in. So we're actually about $15 away from break even. So that's very nice. If I check for the week, it's like the 6th today. Let's do like the 29th of June to the 6th. So we can see here 3 XP fear had a negative, but the other ones were positive, about 1% across the board. But overall, very nice. So nothing to complain about there. This is the one that's the most negative. So this is about what 50 or $60 away. In terms of the other two or the other three, you can see here they're all above, so that's nice. We're just waiting on the KMLM switcher to catch up, so not bad. Let me check one more thing. So next week is when we're probably going to do the investment. If I do it, I'm still trying to decide because we're in the process of moving and we're about to go on vacation. So I might do it this month, but I might not do it the month of August. Haven't figured that out yet. I probably might be able to, but it's just one of those things. I still want to keep it consistent, but anyways, let's go into the nitty gritty of it. So obviously there was a shorter week again, but overall you can see here that we had let's see here. So we lost. Sorry. I should probably freeze this column. Where is freeze? There we go. So on here we have a loss of $30. On M1 we have a gain of $274, and on Composer we have a gain of about $60. Very good. In terms of like the performance, who beat out the performance just based on the percentage, Composer 1.7, or sorry, yeah, 1.74, M1 Finance 1.77, and then obviously Webull is down, so negative 13, almost 14%. So overall 1.59 and 303. We can see that in the weekly breakdown here. Compare that to the S&P 500. Unfortunately, it did beat us this week. I didn't think it was going to, but I think Friday just ended off on a good day. But yeah, we are above. We're about 1.63% above our contributions. That's about $300, but we're still behind the S&P 500 portfolio. So It has been pretty slow on the Composer side of things this week. The last week was crazy. I'm pretty sure I can't quite remember, but I think it was pretty insane. Oh, that's the whole thing. Let's say Composer. Yeah, 7% last week. So, I'm hoping for another week like that because ultimately our M1 Finance portfolio is pretty close to just the general flavor of the S&P 500. Um, and in order for us to actually get a good grasp on it, on this negative 6.5% down or $1,300, we're gonna need to really start pulling. Like Composer's gonna have our symphonies are gonna have to really come up on that. So I think the top one hypothetically can do pretty well. It just needs more time to mature. It's very risky, but you know, uh, I think there's a high potential for it. If we look at year to date, it's actually up 44%. And from our actual investment, it's up 34%. It's just that we put in separate amounts, so it's it doesn't really work out the exact same. It was up the highest point, I think. Let's see, where's year to date? 63%. So, but anyhow, I think that is it for me. I know this is a shorter video. I'm trying to keep these videos kind of short. I know they're probably not the most entertaining thing. I just want to give my updates every week to you guys, and yeah, I'm trying to stay in all my positions as long as I can. I know that a lot of positions I really don't do that with, and that's kind of my bad. But we're going to do that with these 4 symphonies and just try to keep the 30 tickers that we have in this portfolio as much as we can. So yeah. But anyways, guys, that is it for me. And yeah, as always, I wish you guys a wealthy future.